Keith. Why I'm here?
I mean, the team you have. Are you working as a team?
So I'm here in Oulu, and I've come with my colleague Elizabeth and others that are concerned here in Finland about the grooming gang issue you have. So 16 reported cases of mostly migrant men sexually abusing underage girls. So I've just been with a representative of the mayor inside City Hall there, trying to get them to wake up to the problem, because as you will know, in the UK we're well experienced in how grooming gangs operate and how sophisticated their operations are.
Did you meet the mayor?
We didn't get the mayor. We were promised to meet the mayor, but the mayor didn't show up. I'm not altogether surprised, to be honest with you. I heard her say that, perhaps we need to educate the migrant men. You know, it always surprises me when people talk like that, because do you really need to educate a man that he shouldn't be sexually abusing a 10-year-old girl? We met a representative of the mayor. He told me that he didn't really know much yet, that 16 cases don't make a grooming gang, and that he wouldn't want to speculate on what problems there might be in Oulu. But he reminded me that it's Finnish people's Christian duty to care about the children of the world, and frankly, it's that kind of narrative that I'm well and truly sick of.
Mm-hmm. So, what is your impression about the situation otherwise here in Oulu and in Finland? It's not
just Oulu.
No.
I'm really scared, concerned, frightened for the people of Oulu. I heard it said this morning at the airport that Oulu is now the rape capital of Finland. I think that's very frightening. I'm sure this will be the tip of the iceberg. I know these migrant grooming gangs, ours are majority Pakistani Muslim men. They are sophisticated, they are coordinated, they're networked. You will have heard, your listeners will have heard of 3 men just arrested in Helsinki. So you're seeing the start of something that we know well in the UK. And what I'm noticing from your Prime Minister, from the Mayor's office here, from the establishment, is that typical head in the sand thing. Pretend we haven't got a problem, don't talk about it, don't report on it. And then of course what we fail to see is any action. I'm not seeing any action of that out of that place whatsoever.
Who have you already met here now?
So I've met with the Finns party. I know that for a long time, maybe 10 years or so, they've been trying to warn about the dangers of mass migration and the migrant problem. We just heard the mayor's representative in there talk to me about the fact that for every 1 sexual assault that's committed by a migrant, 4 are committed by Finnish individuals, but that's not true at all. Statistically, he's talking absolute nonsense. You know, if you look at the statistics, Afghanis, Iraqis, Syrians are massively overrepresented statistically for sexual abuse of your minors, and I don't understand why more people aren't supporting the Finns party, because they're the ones that will look to put your Finnish daughters first. You know, there's a guy from the Finns party that I met this morning, a gentleman called Sebastian. He's got hundreds of emails from girls saying that these migrant men are cruising past at bus stops trying to get them into their cars. Once you start hearing that sort of facts from the ground, from young girls, you have got grooming gangs in operation in Finland, and it's time that your press and your media, particularly state media, stop trying to play down the problem.
Who else?
So I spent some time in Helsinki, met with a lot of local people. You know, one of the things I think is a criticism of the press actually and of the establishment is you spend a lot of time in the same bubble, talking to each other and listening to each other like an echo. You know, what matters more to me is talking to regular Finnish people. I've spoken to a lot of Finnish people who are really frightened about the fact that Finland has signed up to the nonsensical global climate and global compact on migration. I've talked to Finnish people who are really scared, just mums scared for their daughters here in Finland. You know, if your 10-year-old was gang raped, you would be nervous for your child too. And I've talked to people as well who feel like, why are so many of these people who are now pretending to be concerned? They are the same people that were pushing for more migrant quota to be allowed into this country. So I think we have to call out the hypocrites, both in the media and in the establishment buildings like City Hall here in Oulu. You know, Oulu's got a problem, and Oulu needs to start talking about it. And it's a bit sad that some old lady from the UK has to come here to make you guys talk about a problem you don't want to talk about.
Not so old.
Thank you. You're now my best friend.
You wrote in your Twitter.
Are you a follower?
Yeah.
Are you? Are you a secret stalker?
That you are going to assist local police,
Yes.
government, feminists and media with
Yes.
their work case.
Yes.
What has been police
Yes.
reaction?
Well, actually, I have an appointment with the police. I've sent my questions in advance. I was asked by the police to send my questions in advance, and I have. We're going from here to the police station to hopefully speak with them. There's some questions I have for them. I want to know why they weren't talking about these cases earlier when they were concerned about them. I want to know from the Oulu police why it is that a father of one of the abused victims, alleged abused victim, had to be the one that got involved to help capture these men. And I want to know why it wasn't them that helped uncover the problem in Oulu. It was actually an activist, somebody, a fantastic, heroic gentleman here in Oulu that helped uncover this problem. Where were the police in all of that? Are they doing extra patrols? How are they helping inform local people? So I have a whole lot of questions for your police in Oulu. These are taxpayers that are paying for this. I don't think they're getting the service they deserve.
But you don't know yet if you get the answers.
Well, I know. Like, I was supposed to see the mayor, she didn't show up. I'm not imagining I'm going to be the police's favourite person, although I've been arrested a few times myself in the UK. But I still think it's worth trying to get answers, because very often, you know, so many people now are frightened. You have all of these hate speech laws here in Finland too. There's so much people can no longer say. So maybe it takes someone from the outside to come in and ask the questions that other people aren't asking. I'm sure you should be asking questions here about how is it that grooming gangs have set up and established themselves right under your noses. You know, where have you been? It's a question. I'm waiting for an answer.
Yeah, the fake news media, so they know before.
How do you see Jonas Lokka's and Tina Week's role in this case?
I think Eunice and Tina, for me, and bear in mind I'm from the UK, we're an island. Bear in mind this is Finland, which I'm going to say, put it out there, no disrespect to all my Finnish friends, is in the middle of nowhere. I'm on the Arctic Circle. I've heard of Eunice and I've heard of Tina. And I've heard of them because they're the heroes who stood up in this place and called these grooming gangs out. The police didn't. None of that lot did in their cosy offices with their tea and coffee and cake. It's just two people on the ground trying to do the job that no one else would do. And I think that's increasingly what we see now is, you know, mainstream media being replaced by alternative media because people know, you know, I've just come from Germany where they're shouting Lügenpresse, you know, lying press on the street. Just come from Paris last week where they were booing and hissing the mainstream. And I think that's an issue you guys have got, is that increasingly mainstream media are seen as the enemy of the people, as a mother, not the protector or the helper. You're not giving us the information we need. That's why these guys, Tina, are so important. You know, I think Finland's really lucky to have them.
What about the situation in other European countries? How many Rotherhams you have met before you came to Oulu?
Yes, so Rotherham has been horrific. In the UK, we've got tens of thousands of girls, and typically the cycle works that girls will report to the police because they have come from a difficult background often. They're not believed. Police don't want to take the reports because they're frightened because of speech laws and the political correctness. They're frightened of being called racist, so the girls were pushed away. And then eventually it comes out, the mass grooming gangs taking place. There is always a hook, someone who hooks the girls in. There is always a coordinator who coordinates the rape parties where these men come and prey on the girls. And there's a networker, 3 clear roles that network these girls between the cities. That will be going on here. And you know what we also have with our press, they call these men, they are majority Pakistani Muslim men. They call them Asian men. You know, and that's one of the big fallacies, of course, because they bring in half of China and all of India, whereas it's majority Pakistani men. We had an Oxford grooming gang, you know, Oxford University. They called them Men of Oxford, making them sound like learned professors. And then I think we see the exact same thing happening here, unless you're super honest about the problem straight away. It's a problem that is out of control. What's mad to me is how is it happening here in Finland? I mean, it's properly frightening to me that men from Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, those overrepresented groups statistically for sexual abuse, how have they come to Finland and how are they abusing your daughters? It's beyond my understanding. And then you go ahead, your establishment goes ahead and pushes for more migration, signs the Global Pact on Migration. When are your politicians going to start putting the people of Finland first?
You are working both with traditional media and social media. how do you value and see the relation of these two?
Yes, so I'm a columnist for national newspapers. I've worked for years on some of the biggest newspapers there are in the UK. Working on social media allows me to reach beyond that, beyond the controlled narrative. I can say what I think, but obviously I've paid the price for that. You know, I've been arrested by the Major Crime and Homicide Command. I've been interviewed under caution, and of course the Islamists and the people that I speak out about would like to silence me. So there was a jihadi plot to behead me. You know, I think that's what we see, is if you put yourself out there bravely in this kind of environment, you are going to be a target. But I think using